I'm Dan Drake. This is Front Up on Geno TV and Channel 99. We have two guests today. One is Detective Chris Carnival from the Nantucket Police Department. The other is Patrolman Brian Jackson from the Nantucket Police Department. Welcome, gentlemen. Thank you for coming.
Thank you for inviting us.
Thank you.
This is National Police Week, I guess, and both of you received some recognition. I think Brian's story is a little more exciting because I'm going to save it for second. So, Chris, why don't you go ahead and tell us what your recognition was?
I received last Thursday the Community Service Award, which entails doing things above and beyond normal duties for the benefit of the community, bringing recognition to the police department, which up to and including a lot of it had to do with training and keeping us ahead of the curve professionally.
Is that one of your responsibilities?
Yes, it is. I've been training coordinator as well as trainer in multiple disciplines.
How long have you been on the force?
18 years.
18 years.
Yes.
Good. Brian, how long have you been on the force?
I've been a police officer for about a year, but I was a dispatcher before that and a community service officer. So I've been here roughly 3 years.
So you started when you were in college, or
just after I graduated college, I came down here. Yep.
And what did you get your award for, and when?
When
was the incident?
I received the Merit Award. The incident occurred last October. I was just a couple days off of my field training. I received a call for an intoxicated male party that had entered a home unwanted. He then grabbed a knife from the kitchen, and he started to try and break into the rooms where the residents were hiding from him. When I first arrived on scene,
Were you by yourself?
At that time I was. I had other officers on the way, but I had gotten there first. I ran up to the door, I opened the door, and there I was met by the gentleman with the knife. He had it raised over his head as if he was possibly going to, possibly harm me. So I immediately drew my firearm and started yelling or issuing orders for him to drop that knife, and luckily he did, and I was able to take him into custody without any incident.
Did you expect something like that in your early days?
No, I never did. Never, not at all.
How did you feel afterwards? What was your immediate, you're sort of, as soon as the adrenaline stopped flowing, what was your reaction?
It's still kind of shocking because you think like everyone thinks Nantucket, stuff like that doesn't happen here. But it definitely was like surreal thinking about it afterwards, because that's easily could have been a deadly situation for not only myself, the suspect, but even the residents inside the home.
Sure.
So it was definitely hectic
thinking
afterwards.
Do you think your training helped you in all of
Oh,
that?
definitely, definitely. We do. I did it along in the academy, but we do it here in the department as well.
Another thing you got an award for.
Yep.
Milo.
The Milo training, and it's situations like that.
Well, since it's your baby,
Yeah,
Chris,
you can explain
why don't
it
you tell
more.
us about it?
Excellent. Officer Jackson, handled that call exceptionally well. So another program that we put in place this year, and I always say we because it's a team effort, no matter what. I may get an award, but it's called Milo. It's a multiple interactive learning objective. It's a scenario-based, semi-virtual reality force simulator, as well as, what it does is it puts officers in high-stress, real-life situations. It's almost like playing a movie, except you're not playing. You're into it. Everyone gets amped up. We really want to get guys stressed in these split-second decision-making processes, which a lot of scenarios in case, before they get into those situations. So it all has to do with judgmental, officers interacting from verbal to force, using force if they use it if they have to bring up the level too quickly. We'd rather have it done in a training environment where that stress is, because stress training simulates reality. We don't want guys to learn
on the
job and that stress. Because, to be honest with you, Officer Jackson, if at that moment, based off with the totality of the circumstances, he could have engaged with a lethal force. You had someone with a knife making threats, attempting to get into rooms. Fortunately, everyone locked their rooms. He had the call going in, and he felt, based off his training and having gone through this stuff prior, absolutely helps him make a safe decision. The decision he made would have been justifiable under the law, but having been through that stress beforehand can help you make even a more informed decision based off, again, the totality of circumstances.
Do you agree with that? Do you think you made an informed decision? I'm serious.
You know, within seconds, I
Yeah.
definitely made that
Yeah.
an informed
Good.
decision there.
Good. One of the things that has been said by some of their predecessors in the police department who didn't stay around was that Nantucket's not exciting enough as a police officer.
Yeah.
And this kind of thing, as you said, doesn't happen in Nantucket, but of course it does, and it's happened for a long time.
Yeah.
But what? Maybe it's too soon to ask you this question, but what is it about being a policeman here on Nantucket that appeals to you?
I like it's like the diversity. And when I first came down here, I kind of thought it was all like just upper class, but we have a wide range of ethnicities here and residents, and that's what I find most appealing because everyone I deal with is different. They all come from different backgrounds. In certain departments, you work, you know, you're assigned to one neighborhood and it's all one class and they're kind of all the same. But I enjoy Nantucket for that reason. The department.
What brought you here in the first place?
Originally, I just came down for a summer job. I was just graduating college. I knew I wanted to get into law enforcement.
Where'd you go to school?
Westfield State University. So I heard through a classmate's great things about Nantucket. So I decided to apply. I came down here for the summer and I haven't left.
You found great living conditions and you're still here.
Yep. Yep.
Chris, how about you? 18 years? And
18 years.
Are you from Nantucket originally?
I am from Beverly, Massachusetts originally.
And
came-
what brought you here?
Shipwrecked.
That's a new story.
In all honesty, you know, I was 27 years old. I had my own business. And one of the people I worked with, there's a little, I'll try to make it as short as I can.
That's all right. Go ahead.
I used to build houses, remodel, kitchens, baths. One of the gentlemen I subcontracted off of was a police officer. And the stories intrigued me, what he was experiencing. I saw a seasonal opportunity on Nantucket just to try it, and he encouraged me. You know, hey, give it a shot, try it. You got to get experience though. You can't, to help you make that decision. I came down, and the job, working with people, problem solving, just it enthralled me, and I stayed. In the community as well, obviously.
Where's the shipwreck come into this?
Yes. That's a kind of Ollie joke. Because a lot of people are like, how'd you get here? 18 years.
I mean, that's like the story that I won my wife in a raffle.
Yeah, right, exactly.
Which in fact I did.
Indeed.
The force here is what, about 36 people, the uniformed force?
Yes.
Something like that. In
At full
the
staff.
summer, you get pushed and pulled in a lot of different directions.
For sure.
And in the winter, you probably have a fair amount of time that you fill with training and other sorts of things.
Well, what's interesting is, and definitely chime in, Brian.
Yeah.
His viewpoint's just as good as mine. Our economy is very good out here. We got a lot of infrastructure development going on. So yes, we do get some time for training. You would think it would be like there's not a lot going on. But one thing that's opened my eyes up even more, besides just living the job and experiencing it, as a training coordinator, is we have all this extra duties, and we have to make that. The training is just as important. So there's so much extra details and construction going on, and there's a safety issue. So you need an officer there who's, you know, trained, and
So in
it's
the
a
cold
liability.
weather, you're standing out there freezing your
Right. It's
I've done
toes
that
off.
plenty of
It
times.
is. I mean, in the short of it, I mean, there's time for training. We always make it. And sometimes, to make it work and to provide the town the services it needs, we have to do 6 or 7 training days to get all the officers in to do it for any typical subject matter, which is every year it ebbs and flows. To answer your question, there's not as much free time as the public perceives.
But when you're on those duties, that's your time, not the town's time, right? When you're doing the details on the construction sites and so forth?
Correct. That would be above and beyond our assigned shifts,
Right.
Yeah.
your conventional, work week.
But you're
hours.
also expected to take a fair amount of that.
Yes.
Yes.
You know.
Yeah. He laughs at it.
Yeah.
Yes. And
Maybe expected too much? Is it too much?
I don't think it's too much, but
It's probably inconvenient a bit some of the time.
it can be sometimes. But I guess it comes with being a police officer. You know, we have to work and we have to work. So
Are there events on the island that you particularly look forward to positively and others that you particularly look forward to with less pleasure?
Well, I think, this is a good question.
the
And we'll
answers
answer
might be a little
separate.
different.
Yeah, which is good.
That's good.
I mean, we view it as, when you look at it objectively, all these events, it brings fame and renown to Nantucket and what makes it special. So, objectively looking at it, and as an older officer, we know that these events keep the island alive, so to say, helps the economy, and generally brings a good name. It brings work for all levels. So, it can be inconvenient at times when we on the short bursts, just again because of hours and manpower. But on the other end, we got to embrace it as well because that's what Nantucket is.
Any favorites?
Favorites? Some favorites of mine. Well, I love 4th of July for multiple reasons. That's an interesting event, and I've seen the whole history, how it's ebbed and flowed over the last 18 years. I also like the 4th of July just because we're celebrating
It's the 4th of July.
America, And then another event, probably my second favorite is Daffodil. It's kickoff of the spring. It's lively, vibrant. It's our first kickoff of the tourist season. So those are my favorites of those two.
Brian, how about you?
As a younger officer, I guess I enjoy all those large weekends. I like working with the large crowds, and I guess you can say there's more action
Right.
per se, which as a young officer, I enjoy stuff like that. Not being here as a full-time officer, there's still weekends, Fagawi weekend. I haven't worked a Fagawi weekend yet, so I don't know what that's like. I just came back from the academy last year, and my first shift was 4th of July. That was hectic, but I enjoyed the whole entire weekend. But probably different answer with the younger,
Are
older
there
officers.
any you
but
don't like? No.
No, there
No.
actually isn't. The excitement part of it as well, and
Yeah.
just because there's more in you. And really, in essence,
It's sort of
I say I help people, but I think that comes with wisdom, age. But it is. It's the action and excitement of it. And 4th of July is probably the most dynamic event of our tourist season years.
some major efforts been made the last couple of years to control it.
Yes.
And as you say, it ebbs and flows because the old Matacasham Jam was the same thing at different time, different
Right.
date, but different, same idea.
Exactly.
You weren't here for that though.
I was not, but it definitely it has a lot of parallels.
Yeah.
I've been here long enough. Obviously,
Right.
I'm well embedded in the community. Yeah, it sounds very, very similar. But that actually sounds like it was bigger and, quote, and I use this term loosely, bigger, better, quote, better. Yeah.
I guess it depends on your perspective.
And your perspective, right. But from, talking with year-round residents who've been here since then.
Well, one of the things that you've been involved with at the police department is the school to career program, right?
That would be correct.
For the high school students. How's that work? Tell
Yes.
us a little bit about that.
Okay, I got to give, first I'll just give kudos where kudos is due. Cassie Thompson, currently is running the program. But when I did start that when I was, one of my prior roles was school resource officer for 12 years. The program, it's as a school resource officer, you're a mentor. But what the school resource, the school to career program does is students who are just even interested in possibly exploring a career of law enforcement or even court system, it allows them to immerse themselves into it. And what happens is several times a week they come in and work, just like an intern, very similar to a college internship program. But they mentor up, I call it mentor up, with various different officers throughout the year. They ride along communications end of law enforcement, which is huge. Probably one of the most not recognized parts is your telecommunicators and dispatchers get immersed a little bit into the court system, but it's throughout the year. And then with patrol officers. So it shows them the realities of law enforcement. Because as we know, you can read about it, and a lot of things sound really good on paper. You blend it with reality, and you bring it together. So, from the bridges built, that young adult gets a good informed decision, in knowledge, firsthand knowledge, of what a career in law enforcement, particularly in their community, entails. In the realities, the good, the bad, and the ugly they see too.
Gentlemen, what you both do for the town, we appreciate, and thank you for coming, sharing about your awards, and best of luck to you.
Well, thank you very much.
Brian
Thank you for
Jackson,
having us.
Thank you.